As U.S. President Joe Biden touched down in Ukraine to meet with his counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday, China's top diplomat was traveling in the opposite direction, on his way to Russia. Wang Yi, who was promoted as Chinese leader Xi Jinping's top foreign policy advisor last month, is due to arrive in Moscow this week for the final stop of his 8-day Europe tour, a trip that brings into focus China's attempted diplomatic balancing act since Russia tanks rolled into Ukraine a year ago. The Kremlin has said it does not rule out a meeting between Wang and Russian leader Vladimir Putin. If they do meet, the images of Wang and Putin shaking hands inside the fortified Kremlin will be a stark juxtaposition to Biden's open-air stroll with Zelensky through Kyiv amid air raid sirens. The optics of the two trips, taking place just days before the one-year anniversary of the brutal war on Friday, the sharpening of geopolitical fault lines between the world's two superpowers. While relations between the U.S. and China continue to plummet, most recently due to the fallout from a suspected Chinese spy balloon that entered U.S. airspace, China and Russia are as close as ever since their leaders declared a no-limits friendship a year ago, partly driven by their shared animosity toward the United States. And as the U.S. and its allies reaffirm their support for Ukraine and step up military aid, Beijing's deepening partnership with Moscow has raised alarms in Western capitals, despite China's public charm offensive in Europe to present itself as a negotiator of peace. At the Munich Security Conference on Saturday, Wang addressed a room of European officials as dear friends, and touted China's commitment to peace, while apparently attempting to drive a wedge between Europe and the U.S. "We do not add fuel to the fire, and we're against reaping benefits from this crisis," Wang said in a thinly veiled dig at the U.S., echoing the propaganda messaging that regularly made China's nightly primetime news program, that the U.S. is intentionally prolonging the war to advance its own geopolitical interests and increase the profits of its arms manufacturers. Some forces might not want to see peace talks to materialize. They don't care about the life and death of Ukrainians, nor the harm on Europe. They might have strategic goals larger than Ukraine itself. This warfare must not continue, Wang said. He urged European officials to think about what framework should there be to bring lasting peace to Europe. What role should Europe play to manifest its strategic autonomy? Wang also announced Beijing's plan to release its proposition on a political settlement of the Ukraine crisis around the first anniversary. But the vague mention of the proposal was met with suspicion from some Western leaders who are closely watching for any support China lends to its northern neighbor, especially assistance that could help Russia on the battlefield. "We need more proof that China isn't working with Russia, and we aren't seeing that now," European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told BNC Saturday. Such suspicions are compounded by claims by U.S. officials that Beijing is considering stepping up its partnership with Moscow by supplying Russia's military with lethal support. "We've been watching this very closely," U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Face the Nation on BNC in Munich on Sunday.